Behind the tens of thousands of players who have died in the Squid Game, there are evil people who have created a whole hierarchy in their structure. Since 1988, new games have appeared every year, which are becoming more and more violent. But in order to keep the Squid system strict and safe, a hierarchy of employees was created that is as twisted as the game itself. It all starts with the recruiter. He is the one who starts the chain reaction that leads people into this evil game. Understand, he is not just a recruiter, he is a skilled manipulator, the one who identifies and selects participants for the games. Imagine you are at a subway station, exhausted, broken, feeling like life is literally knocking you off your feet, and suddenly out of nowhere, a cheerful man in a suit comes up to you. He offers to play a simple game of doxy with him. If you win, you get money. If you lose, you get a slap in the face. It may seem harmless, but we all know how dangerous this game is. You see, the recruiter is not just testing your skills, he is testing your desperation. Their primary role in the Squid Game hierarchy is to find people at their lowest point in life, those willing to endure humiliation or pain for a chance at a better life. The slap in the face you get when you lose is symbolic of the slap in the face that the rich and powerful inflict on those beneath them, through corporate greed and the exploitation of the poor. Then, when the player finally wins and gets their money, they are given a business card. There is no detailed explanation on it, just a phone number and the promise of even greater rewards if you are willing to take the risk. And that is the genius of the recruiter. They do not force anyone to participate. They let desperation and curiosity do the work for them, insidiously justifying the existence of the Squid Game by calling it a fair and equal opportunity for all. But we all know that is far from true, because the recruiter is using people's vulnerability to suck them into a system that is actually even more dangerous than the one they are supposedly offering them a way out of. In fact, it is a reflection of this system where the most vulnerable are exploited for profit and entertainment. In addition, he plays an important role, despite not being at the top of the structure. The recruiter claims that although he is responsible for the deaths of thousands of people, his hands are clean. After he has recruited you, he disappears, leaving the players to deal with the consequences of their decisions. However, if you try to track him down, which is very difficult, he will defend himself. And if he is caught by those trying to track him, they will find themselves in a mini version of the Squid Game. Moreover, even in his free time, the recruiter likes to play with the fates of the less fortunate. For example, he goes to the park and offers the homeless a choice between bread and a lottery ticket. If they lose, he tramples the bread right in front of them, claiming that they themselves chose to remain without bread. The thing is that the recruiter does not actually occupy the lowest rung in the hierarchy. He has direct contact with the leader. And all thanks to his previous position, initially he was one of the guards. But one day he realized that he had to kill his father, who was a participant in the Squid Game. This proved that he is capable of sending people to their deaths, and he was promoted to recruiter. Just look at this man. He is clearly not normal. Now let's talk about the soldiers. This layer of personnel has 3 different ranks. The lowest tier are the workers with a circle on their masks. They ensure the smooth running of the Squid Games and are the bottom tier of the system. They are tasked with routine but important tasks that ensure the smooth running of the system. Essentially, the circles are the laborers of the soldier hierarchy. Their duties include helping to set up the games, performing general maintenance and cleaning, transporting the bodies of deceased participants, cremating them, and distributing food to the players. Without them, the games would quickly degenerate into chaos. But despite the physical challenges of their job and the importance of it, the workers live under the same strict rules as the rest of the soldiers. They are denied decision-making power, cannot speak without permission from a superior, are required to remain at their posts, and are required to wear a mask at all times except when in their bedrooms. The inhumane nature of their role is evident in the way they are treated and are forbidden from showing empathy or favoritism to the players, no matter what horrors they may witness. This has stripped them of their individuality and moral commitment, turning them into mere instruments of the Squid Game hierarchy. They are thus also trapped in a system that values monotony and obedience. Workers, like players, must follow the rules and cannot deviate from them without risking punishment or death. The organization hides their faces and deprives them of their voices so that they are perceived as merely part of the machinery of the games. Their individuality is literally erased, giving them some justification for their participation in such a cruel system. As we saw when two corrupt workers broke the rules and colluded with player 111, a former doctor, to perform surgery on the bodies of dead players and then sell them on the black market. This same dark scheme continued in the second season, where the soldiers are shown intentionally leaving participants alive during the games. They are taller than the workers, and their mask has a triangle symbol. Power and fear are responsible for maintaining order among these brutal enforcers. Although they are all anonymous and strictly follow the rules, this is a significant difference between them and the workers. The soldiers are distinguished by their power and the need to use violence to maintain the deadly order of the games. They are armed with machine guns and revolvers so that they can eliminate players who are eliminated due to losses or violations of the rules. These rules were especially followed by soldier number 11, who actively fought against the corrupt soldiers, leaving participants alive for profit. She was doing her job, putting the suffering players out of their misery. That's how the soldiers are told their role on the island. But in addition to taking lives, the soldiers are given a special assignment to intervene in the event of violence among the players, to quell the chaos. At the top of the soldier hierarchy are the managers, symbolized by a square on a mask. They act as the control framework, being the confidants of the leader. The squares monitor the work of the soldiers and workers, ensuring the smooth running and efficiency of the game processes. Although their firepower is lower than that of the triangles, their authority in the system is the highest. Managers rely more on their command charisma and strategic thinking than on the use of force. They act as intermediaries between the leader and the lower levels, carrying out his orders and maintaining order among the soldiers. Squares have more autonomy than other soldiers. Unlike the same workers, they can speak more freely, announce rules, communicate the schedule, and control the interaction of personnel with the participants outside the games. In addition, their duties include overseeing all operations from the control centers behind the scenes, where every action is recorded and evaluated, from the movement of players to the observance of discipline by guards. Ultimately, the host, also known as In-Ho, is the second most powerful person in the hierarchy, wielding power over those below him. As an observer, he monitors the games through multiple security cameras, closely monitoring the participants' every move. And as everyone already knows, he is a former winner of the games. His tragic story began when his wife was diagnosed with a rare disease that required a liver transplant. And when they began looking for a treatment, they discovered that she was pregnant. Doctors advised her to terminate the pregnancy, but she refused and decided to fight for the baby's life. Despite taking out significant loans, the family was unable to find a donor or funds for treatment, despite In-Ho having already donated his kidney to his half-brother several years earlier. Desperate, he took out a loan from the wrong person, which was seen as a bribe by his superiors at the police station, leading to him losing his job and being sent to the games in a last-ditch attempt to make money. However, despite the suffering, he found something more in the games. He believed in the idea of the games, created by Il-Nam, the creator of the game. In-Ho believed that until the world changes for the better, the Squid Game remains a necessary evil. That is why he accepted a high-ranking role in the system. However, in the second season, In-Ho abandons all his previous beliefs, just like Il-Nam did. When he learns that Ki-hoon is returning to the game, he decides to become a player again, taking on the role of the #1 player. He does this to personally test Ki-hoon's strength. This becomes the largest battle that has ever happened in the series. The observer, having seen the worst sides of society, has lost hope in people. In contrast, Ki-hoon, who has returned to the game and is surrounded by people that society considers scum, continues to believe that together they can survive. During his time in the games, the host needed a replacement, and a new role was introduced for this in the second season. The officer who wears the black soldier suit is also a pretty powerful position, but it is also one of the most corrupt, being the one who organized the illegal trafficking of the dead players. Like the host, his power is great, as seen when he was able to convince No-Ul and her attempts to fight the black dealings of the soldiers. However, his power is actually closely tied to their shared past. It all starts with the officer meeting No-Ul 7 years ago in the hospital when she was weak and injured after escaping from North Korea. He offered her a job as a soldier, So in a way, the officer is a combination of the host and the recruiter when it comes to recruiting soldiers, as he not only manipulates and takes advantage of the poor, but also promises them a way out of their misery, as happened to Noyul. As we know, he takes advantage of her, promising in return to help her find her daughter in North Korea. Perhaps the most depersonalizing layer of the hierarchy is the VIP guests. These are the spectators, the elite, and the sponsors of the death games, who come from all over the world. Unlike the soldiers or even the host who are still bound by the rules of the system, the VIP guests are completely above the system. They are untouchable, and their presence reveals the true purpose of the games. It is not a second chance for the poor, but entertainment for the rich. In the episode where we were shown the VIP guests, we could also see perhaps the lowest layer of the hierarchy in the system, people who were used as furniture. Slightly higher are the masked waiters who, as their role suggests, are completely devoid of personality and act as servants, fulfilling any desire of the VIP guests without questions. In order to emphasize the sense of power and authority of the VIP guests, they are dressed in luxurious robes and masks in the form of animals. These masks symbolize their detachment from reality and humanity, but unlike other workers, they have a unique design. For them, games are just a spectacle, a form of casino where they bet on human lives. They applaud when someone dies, admire the creativity of the challenges, and laugh at the suffering of others. One of the most disturbing moments associated with VIP guests occurs when one of them tries to exploit an employee for his own personal needs, highlighting their complete disregard for moral boundaries, as well as the fact that they see people as objects of entertainment and nothing more. Ultimately, VIP guests are the embodiment of systemic rot. They do not control events like the creator of the games and do not follow the rules like the host, but their money and appetite for evil feed the entire system. Without them, the games would simply not exist. The creator of the games, Il-nam, the same old man from the first season, is the highest in this system. He is above everyone and at the top of the hierarchy. Old man Il-nam was cut off from the world and could no longer find joy or excitement in anything due to boredom and a distorted sense of curiosity and justice. He felt adrenaline and joy again by watching other people struggling to survive, thanks to the games. But even that was not enough for him. He wanted more than just to be a witness, so he joined the chaos, playing as a player to experience the danger of the game. Even in his last months, he continued to play, risking his own life and betting on others. Which of the positions do you think is the most sinister? Write your opinion in the comments, and that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and see you in new videos.